Oh yeah.
Like all kids do.
You're already looking at the nicer car and the bigger house. And I remember before Cherry Pie, before we got into that, it was like, okay, that happened. Now if you can get over this next hump and the second one does well, then you're golden. Then you're running to home plate and you're,
Well,
there's
you
the
must have
ticker
felt
tape
like
parade.
You came over home plate running on that one.
Yeah, and ran right into a wall.
It wasn't until the third. Lucky number three.
Lucky number
a charm.
3, yeah.
Three's a charm is what...
The changing of the guard,
knocked us
basically.
out.
Yeah, it's just a different change for music in America. It got out of the fun rock, sing about your girlfriend, your fast car, your party time, into the more serious, I want to kill myself, depressing, tie me down Seattle sound. Which there was a lot of bands I liked from Seattle. I liked Alice in Chains, rockin' bands, but it just absolutely kicked the rock and roll we were doing right in the nuts, which, it happens, and it's happened to them. And, so it's cyclic. It was just, it's very hard to be on that mountain, waving that flag, and then you just take one little step to the left and you're falling in a crevice, basically. And, so I think all of the things you would think would happen to a band at that time, bands break up, egos go this way, egos go that way, people get into boozing it and doing this and that and get divorced, and everything just happened at the same time. It was kind of it was just like an implosion.
Yeah, 93 was the black year. I self-medicated and partied and, kept doing what I was doing. I kept trying to keep the same lifestyle that I was living then too, which was going out every night and drinking and looking for love in all the wrong places, and just kept plowing through it. Janie quit the band, and because of that, we lost our record deal, and then other people wanted to sue us because we didn't, we had obligations that we couldn't meet because he wasn't in the band. And then Joey quit, and then Steven, we let Steven go, and it was just, through it all though, is always, just kept looking forward. Okay, well, we just got to keep moving. We just got to keep going. Looking back now, I think, fuck, I don't know why we just didn't ever just quit, I don't know why we've never quit, because it wasn't easy, wasn't fun,
Yeah.
When all that stopped, what were you living on?
Money from playing live, and money that I had. I was the only guy that didn't get married and divorced.
Right.
But we did have to go.
Remember that,
kid? These guys all got married. I was still looking for Mrs. Right, so I never got married. So I was just taking care of me, myself, and I. So I was okay.
Wow.
For a while.
I was going through a divorce and walking away from a home, and then I was dating some stripper from Texas. It was just
That's rock and roll.
It was everything that it's the perfect, battle downhill, that you would envision of having that reach that high, and then, just as high as that is, you go down. The cool thing, hopefully for the most part, that when I was going down into that dark place, I kept, all the people I knew, I pretty much kept in touch with everybody and kept good relationships. I never really outwardly screwed anybody over out of any money, or, I just always kept arm's length certain relationships. Erik and I still talked a little bit here and there, and, we still had a friendship. You can't go through something like that with a bunch of guys and not, have some type of a deep connection friendship-wise, and, it's kind of like family.
Yeah. What was your intention when you quit? What were you going to do?
I was just out of my mind. I didn't know. I didn't care. I was partying. I was on a road to ruin.
And what were you living on?
I had some money, and I went and got another job, because I had the background and the education. So I started working, and then I went back to school again and got Microsoft certified and hit that big tech bubble in the late 90s and early 2000s. And I was a database administrator for about 7-8 years, basically.
And all this time, were you thinking, this isn't where I need to be, or
what? Sitting there working on a computer?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I was looking around going, what the beep am I doing? I mean, look, the bottom line is that you just keep on getting up. That's what Erik's sitting there saying. He had blinders on and he kept going. I just kept going. I didn't want to do music at the time because I was severely burnt and bummed about what had happened to the band. And I just wanted to make money and move forward, so I educated and just kept on going. But, like everything comes full circle, I tried to stop music, and I just couldn't do it. It was probably the most miserable 2 years of my life. And then one fateful January something, I got an email from him, call me. It was 2004, I think, January. Call me.
2004, yeah.
And I'm all, oh shit, I hope everybody's, healthy.
Oh, yeah.
And I called him and he's all, hey, you want to jam?
Janie had quit again, or got fired, quit, threatened us. I don't know what you want to call it. But anyways, there was a big fight, a big blowout after New Year's Eve 2004. And Jerry and I are just like, you know what, we're just going to... I've been wanting to get Joey and Steven back in the band since like 2000. For like 4 years. I'd really brought it up several times and made attempts to get them back in the band and have the whole original lineup back together. But it's a long story, but it didn't happen. So once Lane was out of the picture, I immediately called Joey hours later and said, this is an opportunity to get Joey and Steven back in the band. So Joey was responsive and cool, and Steven was a little bit hesitant.
Aloof.
He didn't want to come back to the band at first,
He was aloof. He was bummed because of the
still
way
mad.
that he exited, and really wasn't.
Could have been handled better, but at the
Well, who
time
cares?
everything was hell in a handbasket, and people did things and said things, and sometimes you wish you could go back and do it different. But
I got kind of caught up in the dragnet,
Yeah.
of that whole shitty time.
yeah, so long story short, Joey came back on board. We got a singer from a band called Black and Blue, Jamie St. James, joined the band. He's a good friend of ours. He actually sang backups on the first demo that Warrant ever did, which Tommy Thayer, who was also in Black and Blue and now in Kiss, produced, ironically. First time I was ever in the studio ever. So anyways, we've known the Saint a long time. Always on good terms. So he came and joined the band. We had a guy, Mike Fasano, playing drums, and it's 2004, and we got 3 original guys, and we're just going to move forward. So we did one show with Mike in Daytona. It was a killer show, probably 5,000 people there. We played with Night Ranger. And we got home from that show, and I think Steven called you or something and said, I want to come back.
Change of heart.
I want to come back to the band.
I want to come back. I had an epiphany. All right. Okay. What was your ephany? All right, great. Come on.
So he
Did
came.
he bring beer?
No.
No.
He brought some power bars, yeah.
Bars and Gatorade.
We're still drinking beer, though. And, so Steven came back, and it was, 2004, and for the first time we had 4 out of 5 original members. So
And it
Warrant
really
back
sounded
together.
like Warrant, I must say.
Yeah, finally,
It's weird how, even though you can play with different musicians, and Eric's played with a bunch of different musicians more than I have in Warrant, and there's a long list. You can check online, kids. When you get that formula back together of the original,
ingredients.
it just is like, it's like the, beautiful,
Feels
yeah.
good.
So.
Yeah, so we did that for almost 4 years with Jamie.
The Saint, yep.
With the Saint, yeah, and we played probably close to 200 shows and made a CD and a DVD and just kept doing our thing, playing shows. And then an opportunity arose to get Jamie back in the band in 2008.